I'm in the forest right now and I'm going to concentrate only on details today. Now there's a special technique that you can use and make details of forest look interesting. And I'm going to share with you some tips. I'm going to show the final product at the end of this video. I'm not going to show you each and individual photo that I'm taking, but I'm going to show you the final product at the end of the video, and I'm going to talk about why I'm doing this. There's a special satisfaction that you're getting from photographing details in the forest, but you need to do what type of details you should choose and what is the number of photos that you should do. So I will go for 3, 5 or 7 photos. Even though it's autumn, I came into a forest that also has pine trees, and because of that I have a little bit of variation in terms of the bark of the trees and also the vegetation that grows around these trees. So I can combine the green with the colors of autumn. The first element I'm photographing is the bark of this tree. It has some green moss on it and also a good and interesting texture on it. And I'm framing it vertical. The settings are f8 and 0.8 second exposure, ISO 100 of course, and you can also do a really close-up of the bark of the tree, but I also frame it a little wider, and you're going to understand why I did this when you're going to see the final product, the final element that defines this entire series from today. Now take a look at this fern, how beautiful and simple it is, and how that leaf is sitting right there. And as you can see, you have these leaves that are fallen down on the entire vegetation. Even though there's a cloudy day outside and the light is all the same in the forest, I'm still using my polarizer, because every time you're in the forest you're going to notice a little bit of shininess on the leaves. Over here I noticed some leaves that have a beautiful pattern, and into their back there are some green small pine trees, and I'm going to create contrast with the help of those pine trees. So I can either use that direction or this direction. The important thing is to have a detail of these beautiful leaves that are kind of yellow, kind of green, a little bit going towards dark brown. Until now we have 3 photos already, and I think it's time for another bark of another tree, and that is the pine tree to my right. This green moss that is growing on this tree stump, I think it's going to be our 5th photo, and I'm gonna photograph it probably straight like this, or maybe do a variation from this area over here. There is also this fern, and I will see if I include that in the shot also. For the next detail I'm looking for something more colorful, so I'm looking at the leaves of autumn, and at the end of this video everything will make sense. This is a wild cherry tree, and this is going to be the final photo, the final detail that you're going to see, and then we're going to discuss the final set of images and understand why I photographed everything the way I did. I'm going to show you different variations of the final result, because I think you have to see the possibilities of presenting details in the forest as only one photo. The reason for including all the photos in only one image, one final product, I think it's mainly connected to 2 reasons. The first reason, the attention span of the person from today is really low, and we're used to see lots of things in a very short time, and having multiple photos like this, it takes a little bit longer for the brain to realize what it's looking at, and because of that, the person will look longer at your photo. And the second thing is, the second reason is when you're doing this type of details in the forest, when you look at the photos, they're not always that interesting, but they all have an interesting aspect to them, something that caught your eye. And that is what you're doing with this way of composing everything. You choose to place in the image only the element that was interesting to you. And there's also a thought process when you're combining all these images. And as you can see here, I have the 7 image version. You're going to see different arrangements and different versions of this. And I have, first of all, I have wood in the lower part, in the upper part, and in the middle. But the wood from the top and the bottom is darker. And then I have the colors of autumn, and then I have the green. So you think about a little bit on how you arrange the images. This is another version with 7 images, but the image from here and the image from here, it's basically the same image that continues beneath this wood texture. So you have another variation of 7 pictures. It's better to use odd numbers, 3, 5, 7. If you go above 7, I think it's a lot. You can do you can go above 7, but you have to do it in a vertical mode and have the image, the final image having a panoramic format. This is a version with 5 images, and so the middle image, it's a little bit bigger, wider, and it has a detail that is something more that is completely different from the other images. Another version with the 5 images, again dark at the bottom and at the top, and then green, and everything is yellow in the middle. And now we have a version with 3 images. This one looks a lot more cleaner when you have 3 images. If you use wood texture at the bottom and at the top, I think you get a really interesting framing on the stuff in the middle. And I have another version for the 3 image composing, where the image from the middle is a little wider, and it presents a much more interesting detail. So bear in mind when you're photographing or when you're passing through a place, it doesn't matter if it's a forest, if it's a city, or any other place on a mountain, it doesn't really matter. Concentrate on details and compose your images like this. They will be very interesting to look at. This was it for this video of photographing details in the forest. I hope you learned something, and until next time, keep on photographing, because it's the only way that you can get better. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.